Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Congratulations, Matthew Stafford, NFC Offensive Player of the Week.
So?
How you doing, Skip?
What's your point?
I'm just saying I just want to congratulate Matthew Stafford. We're in L.A. We are Rams fans. We're in L.A. We root Dodgers, Rams, Lakers.
10 cases right now that Tampa has a better record than the Rams.
Yeah.
10 cases. Okay? I'll bet you 10 cases that Tom Brady finishes higher in MVP than Matt Stafford does.
No, give me the field.
Okay, I just shut you down twice.
Give me the field. You got Tom Brady, I got the field.
All I know is I would like to talk about LeBron James and the Dallas Cowboys. That's all that really matters, right?
LeBron likes the Cowboys, too. That's a good sign. Okay, we're going to get to the Cowboys, I promise. But, yeah, since you mentioned those L.A. teams, Shannon, your Lakers, we got to talk about LeBron as he will enter next season almost 3,000 points behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to take over as the NBA's all-time scoring leader. And when asked about LeBron coming for his seemingly unbreakable record, Kareem said, quote, "I'm excited to see it happen. I don't see records as personal accomplishments, but more as human achievements. We all win when a record is broken, and if LeBron breaks mine, I will be right there to cheer him on." So, Shannon, how important do you believe this record is to your guy LeBron?
Before I answer that question, Skip, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is one of the very few athletes that I believe that when he says something, I absolutely unequivocally believe everything that he says.
Co-sign. Glad you brought that up.
I just do.
You want to talk about a deep thinker? He might be as deep a thinker as we've ever had in sports.
He very well could be, Skip. I think it's a big deal. I think for the fact, Skip, that he's so close. This is not something that LeBron James set out to do because remember, when they talk about great scores, LeBron James is never, ever mentioned. And I can assure you when Kareem set this record, I remember when he set the record and he ended his career with all these, with this 38,000 points. If someone would have said, okay, I'm going to give you 50 guesses, who do you think break this record? I guarantee you nobody would have said LeBron James because they don't think of him as a scorer like Kobe. They don't think of him as a scorer like Jordan or like Kevin Durant or like some of the other all-time great scorers. But yet, here we are. He's, 120 games of 25 points or 18 points, 6 for 2 years. Probably would have broke it this year had he not gotten injured those 2 years. But, hey, that's neither here nor there. Skip, look. This tells me that LeBron James has been good for a very, very long time. And anytime you play for an extended period of time, Skip, and you play at a high level, there's a chance you're going to break this record. Like Tom Brady. Tom Brady has the most touchdown passes. He played 20-plus years, played at a very high level. He's about to pass Drew Brees for passing yards, which means he played a long time, played at a very high level. So I don't think that this just goes to show you just how great and for how long LeBron James has been. Guys averaging 27 points for a career, basically the same as Kevin Durant. And so, Skip, when I look at it, he's 3,021 points behind Kareem. Skip, I don't really know. There's no down to this. There's no negative way you can look at this. He just started out and said, you know what? I'm going to play as hard as I can for as long as I can. And at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. I remember when I went to Baltimore, Skip, I was about, 1,400 yards behind Ozzie for all-time receiving yards. Skip, it's not something that I set out to do. I mean, the 7th-round draft pick, you're just like, man, I hope I can get me like 3 years. Hope I can get me 10 years. And the next thing you know, I'm like, and I told him, I said, hey, bro, I'm this close. I might as well go in and break it while I'm on your watch. And so I think that's the way LeBron is looking at it. This is not something that, I don't even know how you can set out and say, you know what? I'm going to be the all-time lead scorer in NBA history, Skip. You just play at a high level. You get very, very fortunate that God blessed you with great ability and he blessed you with longevity. And for the most part, with the exception of the 2 of the last 3 years, Skip, you had no injuries that put you down for, say, like a Kevin Durant that missed an entire season or something like that. So for me, there's no negative. LeBron James is going to have this record, and guess what? There's nothing Skip and the other LeBron James haters can do about it.
First of all, I love it how you turned a LeBron breaks Kareem's record topic into Shannon breaks a record of Ozzy. That was beautiful.
No, I just, Skip.
Will wonders never cease?
No, all I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say, Skip, is that's not something that I set out to do. Is that I was very fortunate to play.
It was a good, humble brag. In fact, it was great. It might have been all-time great.
There you go.
Yeah, way to go. Now, will wonders never cease when it comes to LeBron breaking this record? Because, just for the record, LeBron is a lousy three-point shooter, and he's a pathetic free throw shooter for a man of his stature. And that guy is going to be the all-time leading scorer in the history of pro basketball.
How many did Kareem make?
Woo. Free throws?
No three-pointers.
Oh, well, he didn't do that, obviously. He's 7 feet 2 inches tall. And I'm glad you brought that up because Kareem was a career 72% free throw shooter at 7'2". LeBron is a tick higher at 73%, and he is a two guard. Right. He's not 7'2", he is a two guard. Mm-hmm. That's phenomenally bad because already, would you believe that LeBron has missed almost 2,000 more free throws than Kareem missed in his career because LeBron is a much higher volume free throw shooter than Kareem was. Right. And the other quick point to just put this into a frame of reference, remember, once the Showtime Lakers got really good in 88, 89, 90, that was their peak years. They won 2 championships and should have won a third. But remember, Magic and Byron pulled their hamstrings in 89 at Detroit, and they got swept by the Pistons when I thought they were going to sweep the Pistons. So in 87, was Kareem the leading scorer on the Showtime Lakers? No, he was the third leading scorer. Right. In 88, he was the third leading scorer. And in 89, he was the fifth leading scorer, while LeBron has never not scored the most points for every team that he's played on.
Except when they won the championship. AD. Okay,
but that was per game. Yes. AD had a little higher per game. But because LeBron played more, LeBron scored the most points for the bubble champion Lakers. Okay? The bubble champion.
I love how you
It's bubblicious. It's bubblicious. It's got a big old asterisk in there.
Try to add that in there.
I've still got my cubic zirconia ring. I keep it, under lock and key because it is so valuable. Okay, so it's interesting because you said there's no negative to this, but here, this is what's fascinating to me, that now as LeBron James is on final approach to this, and I'm going to also remind you, sir, that if you do combined regular season and playoff points, he's really on final approach because he's going to break it later this year. Yeah. And I'm sure you will come in here and throw a party that day. Yes, you will. We'll have confetti raining down from the ceiling in here.
No, what we're going to do is that we're saving the celebration for at the end.
Okay. Well, for the championship.
I'm glad you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, I'll bet you 20 cases right now they don't win the championship. I'm just trying to be a truth teller over here. But here's the point. He's on final approach for again, that's going to be a huge night when he breaks, if you combine it, because most people, you stay on just regular season. The regular season it's still a ways away. Right. It's probably going to be mid to later next year. Correct. Sometime. But this one's going to happen later this coming basketball season. Correct. Okay, so the point is, now LeBron becomes a little bit at cross purposes because you're already predicting championship. Well, does breaking the record and championship go together? Do they go hand in hand? Because I am not sure they do.
They do.
Because I see a very different LeBron. I started to see a very different LeBron last year because he has to change the way he plays so that he makes sure he stays on course to break the record.
How did he have to change the way he plays?
He shot a career high. He attempted a career high 6.3 three-point shots per game. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'm not great. I'm actually pretty good at math, but obviously 3 is better than 2. And LeBron is a savant when it comes to basketball. He is the genius of genii when it comes to basketball IQ. Still has obviously the highest. I think he's the highest ever. You could argue Magic. It's close. We could throw in a couple other people, but I'm going to put LeBron at the top of that list. So he's already figured out, going into last year, I need to take more threes because it's a quicker path to Kareem. Well, what does breaking this record mean to him? Well, it's all he's got left to make his pretty pathetic case that he's better than Michael Jordan.
No, Skip. he still has the opportunity. You make it seem like LeBron is on his last leg. See, this is the problem that I have with you because you're making it seem like LeBron is averaging 10 points a game and he's just hanging on. He's averaged 25 points for 17 straight seasons. Right. This is not a hanging on record.
Okay, I got it. But he still needs to flip his game upside down because the bubble year, what did he do? He led the league in assists because when he wants to do that, he is highly capable of doing that. And then all of a sudden, his assists dropped dramatically last year because he went from 10.2 all the way down. This is a plunge to 7.8 because he's saying, I got to concentrate on scoring the basketball.
So what role did Dennis Schroeder play in that? Because Dennis Schroeder had almost a career high in assists. So what role did he play as the starting point guard on the team?
LeBron can do whatever LeBron wants to do. That was LeBron's choice is I need to concentrate on Kareem. Suddenly it's about catching Kareem.
So all in 1 year. So 1 year he's
look at the numbers. He shot up to a career high 6.3 threes and he fell to a career low 12 twos a game, 12 two-point attempts a game. So he just said, I got to shoot these threes because what are threes for LeBron? Again, I'll be nice about this. He's a below average three-point shooter. Is that fair to say?
No, he's not.
But what?
Average.
He's average?
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking at what he did last year. He actually had a decent year. His career is 34.5 from three. Okay. Last year he was 36.5. That ranked 110th of 156 qualified.
Yeah.
That says way below average.
Let me ask you a question.
Like way below. I'm being nice here.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So where does his 25-point a game average? Was that 106 out of?
Okay, I don't even care because that's the point. How do you get those points? What's the quickest way to those points? It's just jack up threes because threes count 3 instead of 2. Okay. And what does it also give you? It gives you the ability to stay out of the fray because what does he not want to do? He doesn't want to go in there and bang bodies with people and
kind of like
get
what
hurt.
Jordan did.
Really?
Remember Jordan hit that post-up game. All of a sudden, he wasn't driving and dunking on people like he did in the 80s.
In 98, he was a monster inside. He was banging bodies like crazy. He was as physical a player as there was in the league in 1998, which was his last glory year.
So since you put it like that, LeBron is just jacking up threes. Do you believe Steph Curry's going to catch this record and break this record?
Well, he's as gifted a three-point shooter as we ever had. I would encourage Chef Curry to shoot more threes.
So you believe he's going to break this record?
Well, obviously not.
Why not? The three is worth more than 2. Nobody shoots more per game than Steph Curry.
He's a willowy 6 feet. I'll give him 3 maybe.
But guess what? That's the thing about basketball. They don't care how tall.
But what have I always said about LeBron James? Greatest driver of the basketball I've ever seen. 6 feet 9 inch, 270-pound freight train to the basket. Unfortunately, he's a really pathetic free throw shooter because for the last 5 years, he has shot under 70%. That's phenomenally wrong.
But Skip, you know this. As we start to age, Karl Malone could not drive the basketball and get to the rim like he could earlier. He was still as big, he was still as powerful, but the body. Skip, don't do this.
Okay, I'm doing it because the problem with LeBron is he says, I just don't make free throws at a high rate. I wish right now he was in his backyard practicing free throws, but he's in the weight room. He's
how you know he ain't in there practicing?
I don't even know if he's in the weight room because you could go in there for 1 minute and post a 30-second video and everybody'd say, he's in the lab. LeBron's in the lab.
Is that what Tom Brady does?
I don't really care.
When he's showing that TB12 method?
Tom Brady's won 7 Super Bowls and is about to win his 8th. That's all I know. Okay, LeBron is 4-6 in the finals.
But he's won, right?
Okay, but the point is, the free throws are falling off. So LeBron is saying, I can't do that anymore. I'd rather do this because it's much easier just to shoot threes. It's higher degree of difficulty, so lower expectations. And I'll just shoot these. I'll bet he'll average, he was 6.3 a game last year. I bet that'll shoot up to at least 7, maybe 7.5 this year.
So let me get this right. Dirk Nowitzki played 21 seasons. He's a better three-point shooter. He's a better free throw shooter. He's better at shooting the threes. Why he didn't break Kareem's record? Kobe Bryant is a better free throw shooter. He can drive the basketball. He's more phenomenal than LeBron. He played 20 seasons. Why didn't he break this record?
Kobe's body gave out on him.
What does that got to do with me?
Completely apart.
No, Skip.
Well, you asked and I answered.
No, because in my opening salvo, I said that. I said when you break records that's like this, it means you played at a long time at a very high level. You're making it seem like LeBron James is just hanging on to break this record. You refuse to acknowledge.
I'm not saying he's hanging on, but it's at cross purposes with winning.
So
next year, it's like, well, now I got to trust the point guard, the decision making to Russell.
So let me ask you a question.
Do you trust that?
So is Tom Brady at a crossroads?
What are you talking about? They're the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
So the Lakers are the second, number 2. So you make it seem like they're the 15th favorite. No. Quick question. Is Brady at a crossroads?
No, you've tried to retire him 5 straight years, and I've told you he's going to play at least 3 more.
And you told me 4 years ago that LeBron James came out here just to make movies. Lo and behold, he's won a championship, and he's been a 2-time first team, All-NBA ever since he's been here.
He won a bubble championship. I'll give you that.
He got it.
Yep.
But see, here's the thing. Why is LeBron at a crossroads? Because he has to decide, do I want to win a championship or do I want to win this record? But Tom Brady isn't.
Well, I don't know. It's just like a confounding question. What do you mean crossroads?
That's what you're saying.
He's the best quarterback in football. He was just the offensive player of the week in week 1.
No, he was not.
He's
Matthew Stafford
going to win the MVP.
Well, but put 10 cases he don't win it.
Okay, well, I'm on the record with it.
I want on the record with 10 cases. But Skip, all I'm saying is, the problem is what you're trying to do is that you're making it seem like LeBron is averaging 12 points a game, and he's hanging on just to get this record. LeBron James is...
No, I'm not saying he's hanging on. I just think it's harder to win with him going forward into next year because the priority in LeBron's mind is, I got to break that because in the end, all he cares about is legacy. What will the statement be? Is he the greatest basketball player ever? Because that's what he wants on his epitaph. Right now, he's not. But if he breaks Kareem's record, then maybe the more gullible fans out there will start to say, wait a minute, maybe he is the greatest player ever.
Skip, Tom Brady has the most passing touchdowns. He has 41.
How does Tom Brady keep
because
it's blasphemous. You cannot put him in the same conversation.
I did it. Because what you're trying to do is that you're saying everything that LeBron does, the only thing he's concerned about is breaking Kareem's record, that he's doing nothing towards winning. What Tom Brady does everything towards winning, and then all these records happen to be a byproduct. Why can't that be for LeBron?
Do you really think that Tom Brady cares about any of these records?
Of course, Skip.
He does not.
Hold on, let me ask you a question.
Are you kidding?
So now all of a sudden he doesn't care. So why does he care what Shannon Sharpe said? When he made that montage after winning the Super Bowl, everything that somebody said negative about it, he had it in there. If he didn't care, why would he do that?
It's all about winning the championship. And he won another one. He shocked you. He said, I'll go to the Succaneers. I'll turn him into Patriots South.
And guess what? Yeah, he said the Succaneers, the most talented team in football.
Nobody else said that except Brady.
That's what Pro Football Focus said. Everybody else knew how talented they were.
Okay, but the world was shocked when he chose the Succaneers. They were 7-9.
You know what? If Jameis had played like he played opening day in Tampa, he would still been in Tampa. He turned the football over too much, which rubbed Bruce Arians, and he realized he couldn't win. So don't make it seem like, Skip, because if he was so great, why didn't he take that team, that last New England team? Why did he get passed out of the first round?
He couldn't rise above Belichick.
No, he couldn't rise above that talent.
The architect of that team
couldn't rise above that talent.
It had declined into oblivion, and Brady said, I got to get out from under this guy. I cannot win in spite of Bill Belichick anymore. That's what he was saying.
He's the GOAT. You told me GOATs are supposed to overcome all. That's what you said about LeBron. When I said he had playing in Cleveland, if he's the GOAT, he's got to be. So he's the GOAT. He should be able to overcome that.
Did you predict, you being in the Hall of Fame, that he was going to go to Tampa Bay?
No.
Nobody saw that coming because only a genius like Brady could say, wait a second, I like that.
But go back and pull the tape. Once he did go, I said, you look at what they have.
Well, sure.
Mike Evans,
After
Chris
everybody's
Godwin.
eyes got open, I was saying the same thing. You can pull my tape.
Skip.
Look at that defense.
They had two Pro Bowl receivers. And then he got able to bring AB. Minus the distraction, AB is still a top flight receiver. He got Gronk. They just had selected O.J. Howard the previous year in the first round. So don't do that, Skip. Don't make it seem like he was playing with bums. He went down there and played with bums. You keep to say the Succaneers, what they are currently versus what they used to be. Guess what? Golden State used to suck.
Tom Brady turned that whole franchise into a winner's franchise.
Skip, they had one. Skip, they had one before.
Okay.
But I'm saying, yes, they had fallen on lean times. All I'm saying, hold on. What was the Lakers? The last 6-7 years, what were the Lakers? What the hell was the Los Angeles Lakers before LeBron? The last 6 or 7 years.
Okay. So he's 4-6 in championships, right?
You make it seem like he's 0-6. You make it seem like he hasn't won anything.
Okay, I got one other key little nugget for you here. This is maybe my all-time favorite LeBron stat.
Yes.
So in missed free throws in his career, this is why he should have passed Kareem a long time ago if he'd done what he should have done.
He still wouldn't have passed him.
Well, he would. If he could shoot 90% from the line, he would have passed him. Here's the point.
Jordan didn't shoot 90%.
Okay, well, he shot 85%.
That ain't 90.
Okay, well, Larry Bird shot 90. Is that what you want?
Yeah, that's what you said. That's what you measured by.
I'm saying superstars should shoot around 90. Magic was close to 90. Okay, that was the gold standard for free throw shooting. Steph Curry's at 92%, speaking of Steph Curry. So the point is, LeBron is now 5th all-time in missed free throws.
Okay.
But look what he's surrounded by. A bunch of giants. Wilt, 1, Shaq, 2, Dwight, 3, Karl Malone, 4. Then comes LeBron. Then it's Tim Duncan, Walt Bellamy, Kareem, Bill Russell, Elvin Hayes. You have to go all the way down to 19th on this list before you get to another 2-guard, who is Dwayne Wade.
But look at
LeBron is 5th in missed free throws. Dwayne is 19th, and that's the first 2-guard. That's an astounding assortment of big men, of giants. Who can't shoot free throws.
Look at all those guys and how long they played. And only one guy is the all-time leading scorer. Duncan played 19 years, and LeBron passed him a long time ago. Nowitzki played 21. LeBron is 2,000-3,000 points in front of him. So by the time LeBron gets to year 21, how many points more will he have than Nowitzki? When LeBron gets to 20, LeBron is going to have the all-time scoring record. Skip, all I'm saying is this. When you play as long as LeBron, you can play a long Skip. If I collect cans for 20 years, I'm gonna have a boatload of cans. That don't mean they're gonna be valuable, but I'm gonna have a bunch of them. But if I collect the right cans in the right locations, I might just have some pretty cool stuff. And that's what LeBron has done. LeBron James has played for 19 years, put up outstanding numbers, and won. There is no conflict between winning and accumulating great achievements in that same process. In that same time frame. You try to make it one or the other. You try to make them mutually exclusive, and they're not.
I want to warn you, you're going to take a wild roller coaster ride this year with your Lakers because LeBron will jack up more threes than ever, and he can be LeBrick. And your point guard, masquerading as a 2-guard, is Russell Westbrook. And we know what he is from 3. He is a nightmare from 3. So those 2 guys jacking up shots from the perimeter, good luck.
And guess what they're going to be jacking up? A title. They're going to be jacking up another title. Yeah, look up there. Look up there, Skip. There it is. 2021, 22 champs. Yeah. That's the only banner that's going up in the Staples. We know who won't be putting one up there.
Here's what I'll do. I'll bet you 50 cases of Diet Mountain Dew that Brady will win the championship versus 50 cases that LeBron will. If they both win, it's a push.
No, if we both win, you give me 100 because you said he done.
No, come on.
You said he done.
You already predicted he is going to win. So I'm predicting Brady will win. Let's just go 50 cases right here, right now. 1 versus 1. We can have a push or somebody's going to win.
No, I want to win. Give me 2 to 1. Give me that.
What do you want odds for? You got the GOAT.
No, you got the GOAT. You told me the GOAT.
I definitely have the GOAT.
No, you ain't got no GOAT.
Yeah.
I got the GOAT.
Okay, should we...
All-time leading scorer.
Somebody is...
Skip, how many guys...
Shaky.
How many guys you think going to be in the top 10 in scoring and assists?
Way to go.
No mercy.
Well, many people are crediting the Cowboys with a moral victory after they played the defending champion Bucs tight in a opening night loss at Tampa last Thursday. But some still have higher expectations for the team. Ahead of Sunday's game at the Chargers, the Dallas Morning News writes that it's imperative for Dallas to win a big road game early in the season to set a tone for the upcoming year, considering how poor they've been away from Jerry World during the past 2 seasons. So, Shannon, how capable do you think this year's team is to win road games?
I don't see anything different. Why is this team any different than the previous teams? Last time they won a road game against a team that made the playoffs was in 2018. Man, you know, Skip, I was barely 50 years old.
Yep.
Now I'm 53. So that's how long it's been. 3 years since y'all won a road game against a team that made the playoffs in the same season.
You don't have to tell me.
Get what? He gonna be 54. I'll be 54 before y'all go to the playoffs. Skip, look. The Cowboys, every year, we hear, moral victory. And this is Stephen Jones was on the radio talking about this is a sign of things to come. Does he know y'all lost? Do I need to tell him? Stephen, you guys lost that game. So if this is a sign of things to come, I see more L's in your future.
By the way, the quote was from Stephen. You did get a taste of the type of brand of football that we're going to play this year. Go ahead.
Losing football.
Yep.
Because that's what happened. You lost.
Were you surprised at how well they played? Yes, you were.
Well, Skip, who cares
you
about
admitted that the next day. Wow, I was surprised. I didn't see that coming.
In pro sports, there is nothing other than wins and losses.
They pushed the GOAT to a walk-off field goal.
Let that sink in for a second, what you say. You over there celebrating the loss.
Well,
You lost, Skip Bayless. Skip, I still don't trust their defense. I understand. Skip, they got 4 turnovers and still gave up 31 points. So what happens if you don't get those 4 turnovers?
Well, they got goated. That's what he does.
Skip, you do okay. They got Herbert. They got, Mac Jones. Mac Jones in week 6. They got my homeboy. Now, you just saw what AB did. So picture Tyreek. You saw what Gronk did. Now picture Travis Kelce. You saw what Brady did. He can't move. What about my homeboy and Arrowhead?
And you skipped over at New Orleans, and all of a sudden that doesn't look so winnable.
And Tyler Heineke. And Jalen Hurts. Make it hurt. Everybody hurt. Yeah, everybody's going to hurt. You in for it. I've been waiting for this moment for a very, very long time.
No, you've been living in this moment for like 3 years.
Justin Herbert just shredded a very good Washington defense.
He did.
I'm foreshadowing. I see 350 and about 3 touchdowns against y'all.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is that coming out of the same mouth that uttered yesterday? You'll probably win that game. That's what you said about my Cowboys on yesterday's show. It's on tape. You'll probably win that game Sunday at Chargers, said Shannon Sharpe in the Hall of Fame.
And guess what? We got 2 more days before we make this pick on Friday. Might surprise you.
Really?
I'm going to get me another $100 off that guy.
Really?
Bet you that.
Huh. Well, you might pick his pocket, but you ain't picking mine. Okay, my turn. I will give you that Justin Herbert looked all world.
He did.
They converted 14 of 19
That's crazy.
third downs on the road at Washington against at least a very good front 7. I'm not convinced about the back 4, but the front 7 is top of the list.
Yes.
And in that game, they put up 424 yards to Washington's 259. That meant that they ran 78 plays to Washington's 49 plays. You don't see that very often in the NFL. The possession was 36-24, but they just held on to the ball because they kept converting third downs.
Yeah.
Okay. So all of a sudden, we, as in my Dallas Cowboys, opened as a 2.5-point underdog at Chargers. Not all that bad if you're given 3 for home field, but it quickly got bet up to 3 where it now stands because of what Justin Herbert and the Chargers did at Washington.
Well, what about Dak? Didn't Dak do something good on the road?
He did something great on the road.
And then what happened?
Nobody saw that coming because I didn't, because he played not a snap of preseason football. And I'm going to go all the way to it was the greatest game Dak has ever played under the circumstances with no prep, coming off the double ankle surgery and the arm injury in training camp.
You do realize in all those big games that he's played, he's caught L's.
Okay, let's look at that, shall we?
Sure.
Dak Prescott on the road has lost his last 6 games, including that one Thursday night.
What?
That's not great. He makes $75 million this year, making him far and away, just this year, by far the highest paid quarterback, because second on that list is Tom Brady, 27.5. So
Okay.
75, that's with the bonus. Everything, every penny he's going to make this year totals $75 million. Well, obviously, as you said before the season, you have to start living up to that. When there was no pressure or very little and zero expectations, when Dak was a raw rookie who got thrown into the fire out of the 4th round in Mississippi State in place of Tony Romo and his perpetually broken collarbones, all of a sudden, what did we see? Dak went 6-2 on the road as a rookie.
Yeah.
Remember those huge wins at Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I remember.
At Ben Roethlisberger?
Yeah,
remember those games?
Yeah, you were standing on the table, yeah.
Remember at Washington that year? That was the turnaround game where that was against Kirk Cousins, and you're saying, whoa, this kid can play.
Yeah, I
he
remember
can
that.
lead. He
Remember-
can play make.
Remember like yesterday. Unfortunately,
Do you?
that was
Okay.
5 yesterday, years
All right.
yesterday.
He came right back in 2017 and went 6-2 on the road. It became a lost year because Zeke got suspended.
What I got to do with Dak?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, in his first 2 seasons, with little to no expectation, he went 12-4 on the road.
Yeah.
That's all-time great,
Yeah.
right? And since then, he is 6-13 on the road. Is that because his team decayed right before your very eyes?
No.
Yeah, some. to
No,
some
it ain't.
extent.
No. That's not what you told me. You told me Zeke is still Zeke, and you expecting bounce back season.
This year I do.
That offense is like, hold on.
But is it possible as Zeke went south, he went south, the whole team went south, the ability to win road games went south? Is that possible?
No, what about Tyson
Because
Hill?
I'm going to remind you what happened on Thursday night. What was the ratio of pass to run? It was 58 passes to 18 runs.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about this in depth a little later in the show, so buckle up for that. But there were 28 runs called, said Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator.
Right.
I called 28 runs. 28?
Yeah.
Dak checked out of 12 and threw the football. Okay, so Dak says, I want the ball to put it in my hands. I'm going to take it out of my best friend's hands, and I'm going to throw the hell out of it. And he almost got them home. But can you get them home in another big road game? Because they're going to loom larger and larger.
Right.
And this one is obviously way more winnable than the one last Thursday night was.
Still, but I think you agree with me. They've invested heavily on the offensive side of the football. Most of their money with Dak, Amari, Zeke, Zach, Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, a lot of the lion's share of their money is invested on that side. So you expect that side of the ball to carry the lion's share of the load. And they're going to have to. I'm still not convinced in your defense. You might be, but I am not.
Okay, so what are we up against? What are the handicaps going forward? Well, obviously, Lyle Collins got suspended for 5 games. That's the right side protector, right?
Yeah,
and he was sensational. I didn't expect him to get suspended for 5 games.
But you expect something to go wrong with the Cowboys,
no,
right?
I don't.
Oh, so they're past that now.
Well, again, we have won 5 championships in our lifetime.
But there you go.
Okay.
You going way back.
We are still America's team.
For real,
So are you saying it's cursed? Are you saying that what can go wrong always goes wrong with the Cowboys? Because it doesn't always go wrong. I've been a fan since I was 10 years old, and I have celebrated a whole lot in my life.
Let me ask you, how much celebrate you done in the last 25 years?
Well, a lot.
You know, Skip, think about how things have changed.
2014, 2016, 2018, I celebrate.
Think about all the good things that's happened in your life.
Yeah.
Your brother's won the James Beard Award. He won it twice, right?
Yeah.
You got married to lovely Ernestine. I mean, so those are 2 celebratory occasions.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some nights I'm not sure that's the greatest thing I ever did, but I love you, Ernestine.
But let me ask you a question.
Yep.
How many times have you celebrated the last 25 years something your Cowboy did? Because you tell me championship. It's all about championship. You love Tom Brady, you love Michael Jordan because they win.
With my Cowboys, it's all about division championships. 14, 16, 18, raise the banners.
Really, Skip?
Raise the banners.
Really?
Yep.
That's what you loaded
Okay,
to.
so what are we up against? All of a sudden, there's no Lyle Collins, and it's Terrence Steele, undrafted free agent who actually started 14 games, unfortunately, as a rookie last year, and he is thrust into the breach once again, right before your very eyes. He's got to protect the eye side of Dak Prescott. Zach Martin, fortunately, is back at right guard. He's a Hall of Famer. But Randy Gregory is very iffy as the bookend pass rusher that I think made DeMarcus Lawrence's life a lot easier at Tampa Bay. I think he rose and shone because Randy Gregory was raising hell on the other side and was attracting some doubled attention over there. So the point is, I don't know if he'll make it back. He's got to pass 2 tests.
Right.
He is vaccinated, but he is on the list.
But that rookie tracker looked real good. That one from Northwestern, Rashawn.
He did.
Yeah, he looked good. Did you see him against Chase Young?
He just shut him out.
Okay.
Because I watched a good bit of that, and I don't even remember Chase Young playing.
Neither do I.
Okay, so that was highly impressive. I will give you that. And finally, Michael Gallup, the third of my tremendous trio of receivers, is gone for God knows how long on IR with a pulled or ripped calf muscle, right? So these are big losses potentially going forward, which heaps more pressure on my quarterback. Well, I'm looking at, okay, so what have we seen from him? Well, last year we saw him lose at the Rams, but he played very well. And they got a bad call. They got the offensive push off on Michael Gallup, remember? So they opened up, but they lost at the Rams. I give you, that was an L, and I'm not even going to take a moral victory in that one. And then they went to Seattle, and they lost, and Jerry Jones is the next day ripping Dak Prescott, saying, because there's a last-second throw to tie the game into the end zone, it got picked. And he said, well, Patrick Mahomes makes that kind of play where you wheel out of the pocket and scramble mode, and then you find somebody. And then he Romo makes those plays. Okay? Dak, you got called out. So here we go. And then we go back to the hard to remember 2019 season. And what did we see again and again and again? Well, the last 3 games on the road were at New England. They lose 13-9, and Dak was not very good. I know it was foul weather, but then at Chicago, I know he threw for 1,000 yards in the fourth quarter, but he wasn't very good. And they lost to a team they should have beaten.
No, they didn't.
Huh? Come on.
They should have beat the Bears.
Oh, come on. You got to give me. And then at Philly for all the marbles, the division marbles, they lose 17-9. And Dak was banged up, had a shoulder injury, but he stunk it up that day. I told you after the game, he stunk it up. He missed Tavon Austin with a deep throw late that could have maybe given them a chance to go for 2 and tie. Right?
And you didn't even mention the Saints.
Okay, well, that was early. He one big game he won on the road was Week 11 at Detroit. And guess who the quarterback was? Jeff Driscoll. That's who he beat at Detroit. I'm not going to get real excited about that.
That was a big game.
Then we keep going backwards that year. Week 9, he went at the Giants against Daniel Jones as a rookie.
Really?
That's hard for me to get real excited
Skip.
about that.
Skip. No. See, I see what you're doing.
Okay, well, just keep going backwards that year. Week 6, they lost. It's your favorite game ever, the 24-22 loss at Jets. You're up at Mile High, screaming your guts out. You came in without a voice the next day.
I want you to tell me the last time they won the game on the road against a playoff team.
Okay, well, I'm getting there. Then we go backward to Week 4 of 2019. Dak he's pretty pathetic. On the road, they lost 12-10 to Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater? Really? Okay. And he did win that year early in the year at Washington. The rival quarterback was Case Keenum, right? So I can't make a case that even when he wins against Jeff Driscoll and Case Keenum, it's just been a long, hard drought on the road.
The mere fact that you talking about your quarterback has got to come through against Jeff Driscoll and Case Keenum.
No, well, I'm saying those are his big dubs on the road, right?
Wow.
Okay, so it's time to earn $75 million. He lived up on Thursday night.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He lived up.
So let me ask you a question. If he throws for 400 yards every game and you guys lose every game, that's living up.
Okay, but that's the team I picked to win it all. That's the quarterback I picked to win the MVP. That is by far the greatest football player in the history of your sport. Okay? That is a moral victory.
No. All that being said, it's still okay for you to beat that team, even though Tom Brady is playing, even though you picked them. It's still okay for the Cowboys to win.
It's a springboard. It's a measuring stick where you say, hey, we're better than we thought. Springboard across the country all the way to SoFi, which happens to be the site of the upcoming Super Bowl, and let's see what you're made of now. You should be able to take the confidence that you won at Tampa. That you won some confidence. You didn't win the game, but you won some respect and
from who?
Some credibility from the world.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, you did. All but you. When you came in the next day, you were impressed.
Skip. It's like these cartoons, the springboard when you're diving into an empty pool.
Okay. Well, again, maybe they'll just face plant on cement.
So you know what's going to happen.
Okay. I don't know what's going to happen because the more I look at this, I just like how this team is. I just like what it's made of.
You like them every year because of what they made of.
Some new character that I saw. And I did love the way Dak competed in that game. So I think I got a shot. And I'm leaning toward picking them to win this game.
We both got shots. We got them early on. Skip Bayless. The only thing that you like about the Cowboys are the uniforms. That's what you like about them.
I do love those uniforms.
But you know,
when I saw them on Thursday night, that just did me, it did my heart good.
He need to take that star off and put an L.
You think so?
Because that's what y'all do a lot of.
Yep.
Y'all don't shine bright. Stars shine bright. You can always see them. Put that L side there for loser.
Okay. Dak Prescott, you have been called out by the Hall of Famer across from
you. Called him out.
Tom Brady has been called out by that Hall of Famer and made him eat it again and again and again. Dak, it's time to make him eat it, as in fried crow.
Skip. You just called him out. You said in his first this many playoff game for a road game, he was this and this.
12-4.
In his last
6-13.
Oh, you called him out. You said, "Come on, Dak, you got to beat Teddy Bridgewater."
I'm just spitting facts. It's time to live up. It's time to break through. It's time to show that you're Dak Prescott.
So you called him out.
He played like a top 5 quarterback, and I told you in MVP odds, he's the 5th on the list. That's top 5.
Who number 1?
Well,
who number 1?
Okay, I'll take Brady.
We already got that bet.
Do we? I don't know. We have.
You gave me the field.
I didn't give you the field. You
ain't got no confidence to go.
The only bets you win are fabrications.
I'm just trying to figure out why you got the GOAT and you won't give me the field. That's the GOAT, the greatest player to ever live.
44 years old.
So is he
44 years?
Is he not the GOAT?
In 5 straight years.
Is he not the GOAT?
Well, you tell me.
I'm asking you. Is he the GOAT?
No, I'm asking you. You're the Hall of Famer. I'm not.
I want the field. Give me the field.
The field?
Yes.
Let's just go head to head. Let's do it like I told you, the LeBron Brady bet. I'll do the same bet with Mahomes. Well, I'll do 5 cases if Mahomes wins it and 5 cases if Brady wins it. And I'm giving you a huge break on that because Brady's like 8th on the list.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. That's nice.
I deserve the odds.
You don't deserve no odds.
Yeah. You don't want to mess with him. There's one man in sports you do not bet against.
I'm loading up.
How many cases has he cost you?
I'm saving up all my cases.
Yeah.
Kansas City Cowboys.
Kansas City Cowboys? Oh, that's big of you.
The Chiefs used to be the Texas Cowboys.
By the way, I do look down the Cowboys schedule, and only 2 teams remain on the schedule who made the playoffs last year, and that's Kansas City and the Saints. Those are the only 2 left on the schedule. So, here we go.
And guess what? You look down there. Guess who won't make the playoff this year?
Who?
That team with the star. That team.
Well, you understand, when you win the division, you automatically get a playoff berth and you get a home game. So we got a home game. It's a done deal.
I got the field in that division.
Okay, good. Congratulations.
Let's see how they do against the
You'll be eating at your
Sunday.
own restaurant.
All right. We got to talk about Tom Brady. He came up plenty there. He did obviously take care of the Cowboys Thursday night, which meant he could spend football Sunday watching from his couch. And on a recent podcast, he says he couldn't ever remember this many rookies playing, adding, quote, "Gone are the days of Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning. You know, those are the guys I'm used to hearing about. I'll be forgotten here soon. I'll move on and they'll be on to someone else. But that's just the way football goes, as does life." Interesting there. Shannon, what do you make of Tom saying this?
He knows what his mortality is. No matter how great you are, they will move on, Skip. That's just the way it is. Yeah, they'll refer back, man. You remember when Brady did this? But the common occurrence, like we talk about him on a daily basis, like we talk about him every Sunday, when they mention Tom Brady, it won't be anymore. That's just the way it is. They talked about Montana, and they talked about Elway, and they talked about Marino, and they talked about all the greats. They talked about LT and Reggie White and Bruce Smith.
Yep.
Now it's Aaron Donald and Joey Bosa and Myles Garrett. That's just the way it is. They used to talk about Ray Lewis all the time. Now they're talking about Devin White, and they're talking about Bobby Wagner. That's just the way it is, Skip. It doesn't matter. And it's just not sports. It's all things, just like the rappers. Now it's these new Lil Baby and Lil Durk and Lil Yachty and Weezy and all these guys.
Yep.
And guess what? In another generation, it's going to be somebody else. That's just the way it works. Actors and actresses. Skip, used to be Bogart. And it used to be
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson,
yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Now it's these guys. another cycle comes around, they'll be forgotten. That's just the way it is. And I think Tom, no matter, and he's like, man, here I might have 8 Super Bowls, maybe even 9. I'm going to have every statistical record there is for the quarterback position. And I'm going to be forgotten.
Poor Tom.
Skip, you know that's just the way it is. The guy, ain't nobody talking about the guy that invented the polio vaccine. They talk about the guy that invented what they did with what we going in now, Skip, and coming up with SARS and coming up with all these other vaccines. That's just the way it goes, Skip.
Jonas Salk, may he rest in peace.
I know who, but I'm just saying, Skip. You know, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell. Ain't nobody mentioned those guys. Who came up with TikTok? Who came up with IG? Who came up with Twitter? That's where we are now. That's just the way it is, Tom. And Tom realized it. Plus, Skip, the thing is, Tom also said, you know what? I remember the time they used to let rookies, let them mature, give them a couple of years. Now, they feed them to the wolves. They said, nah, it's too much money, Skip. It used to be guys didn't make that money, Skip. You could have your nice solid backup on your team, Skip, for $750,000. Now you got to pay $5, $6, $7 million for a backup. And your starters, they make so much money so quick, Skip. I got to see what I got because I can't pick up that 5th-year option. And now you see Josh Allen just got $250,000. So where the quarterbacks going after that? All these young quarterbacks, it's about to be $300 million. And then the common occurrence is about to be $400 million for a quarterback. But Tom is coming to the realization. He's like, look, I understand my time is winding down. And I understand that everything that I've accomplished, at some point in time, people are not going to talk about it every day like they do now.
Shannon Sharpe, I appreciate everything you just said, but I'm afraid you just took the GOAT's bait, and I'm afraid he's reeling you in here.
He reeling me in?
Because the money line here is, I'll be forgotten here soon. Operative word is soon. How soon is soon? Are we talking about, is he suggesting this is it? This is the last year?
It doesn't matter how soon is. The fact of the matter is he will be forgotten. The days of talking about Tom Brady every day, talking about Tom Brady on Sunday, that will not happen.
Shannon Sharpe, this is nothing but a humble brag by Tom Brady. This is his new ability out from under the thumb of Bill Belichick to get clever and crafty on his social media performances. And they are performances because he's having nothing but fun. There's some tongue-in-cheek here because he's basically saying between the lines, look at me. Yeah, I'll be forgotten soon, but I'm going to play 3, 4, whatever more years I want to play.
But still,
and I'm still playing at the highest level at age 44. So he's putting it in perspective. He's telling you, look at all these kids playing. And you want to talk about a savant? You want to talk about genius? I was shocked at the command he has of the whole league. He does not miss a trick of what's going on. He knew that Justin Fields played a little. He knew that Trey Lance played a little. And he went down the list of everybody did this and everybody did that.
That's what I keep telling you. He knows all. Everybody knows. Yes.
He sees and knows everything. And then he says, gone are the days of Drew Brees and Peyton Manning and Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. You know, those are the guys I'm used to hearing about. Ha, ha, ha. He's still standing. They're all gone, and he's still standing at 44. And not only is he still standing, but he knew that he had just played one of his best games of his career on opening Thursday night. He knows that he's got a shot this year because they're going to be favored to win every game. He's got a shot to go 20-0.
Right.
If they're going to do that, then he's going to have a shot at winning MVP at age 44. What a narrative that you always tell me it's a narrative. Okay, what a storybook story that would be. So in the end, this is all Tom Brady utilizing social media in ways that Bill Belichick would never have allowed, or he wouldn't have even dared to risk saying these things on social media. So to me, I'll be forgotten soon is his way of saying, yeah, but not that soon. And furthermore, he won't be gone and forgotten because he's the greatest player who ever played. We all still know all about Joe Montana just the way we know about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln, right? I mean, we know what they did. We know.
When was the last time you heard somebody mention Joe Montana's name? When was the last time you heard somebody mention George Washington, Abraham Lincoln?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
Like every other day. I don't know. No. But they're still alive in everybody's mind, right?
Yes. Tom Brady Tom Brady is going to be Brady. What he's accomplished.
Yeah.
But Skip.
I mean, people will talk about him for the next 100 years.
No, Skip. The way we talk.
I get what you're talking about. When you walk out the door, people move on to Zach Wilson.
Yes.
You know, like, okay, I got it.
And that's what he said. And he's like, these are the guys I used to face.
Okay.
They're gone. Eventually, I'm going to be gone.
Okay.
And now it's going to be all these guys.
Right. Okay, look, when Shannon Sharpe walked out that door for the last time, then it's on to Gronkowski or
Toni Gonzalez. Jason Witten.
Jason Witten. And now we got Kittle and we got the kids. And we
Kelsey,
got
you got
everywhere.
Waller.
Okay, we got it. We got it. But people still remember what Shannon Sharpe did. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he will live forever in the Hall of Fame because that bust will stay in Canton till death do this world part, right? Okay, so again, I think you're going way overboard in saying, oh, woe is Tom Brady. I don't think he's saying that at all.
No.
I don't think he's trying to reach for perspective about life. I think he's putting himself in great perspective as to what's happening and what he continues to do.
Right, but I'm talking about, Skip, I'm talking about his football mortality.
Yep.
He's saying that the guys that I remember are no more. I don't face Drew. I don't get ready to go across and like, man, that's Drew Brees on the other side. That's Peyton Manning. That's Eli Manning.
Okay.
Those are the Skip. Those, I mean, you know, that's his generation. Aaron Rodgers is still playing. Ben Roethlisberger. So when I look at his generation of great quarterbacks.
Okay, but that's a great humble brag. It's a subtle backslap of himself by saying, I'm still standing. They're all gone. I'm still standing.
It's kind of like LeBron. When you look at the great players, he's like, man, I was in the league when Shaq and Kobe, rest his soul, and Tim Duncan and Dirk Nowitzki.
True.
There was some
I agree.
You know, Kevin Garnett.
I will give you that.
And so he's like,
but LeBron is still standing.
And he's like, nah, it's just, you know, me and look at it's Jason Tatum, it's Spider Mitchell, it's Luka Doncic, you know,
and
it's
it's
Jason
about
Tatum.
to be Jalen Green in Houston.
Yeah. And so he's like, damn, look at all that.
Even John Wall is being phased out now in Houston because they're going to go with the kids.
Yeah.
The 18-year-old and the 20-year-old are going to be their starting backcourt. That's what happens.
And good luck trying to unload that contract, Houston.
No way. I'm afraid he's just going to have to watch.
Them picks that you got from Brooklyn?
They will not do that.
The picks that you got from Brooklyn,
Hey.
I'm going to need those back.
Yep.
I'm going to need those back.
Tom is riding high right now.
Oh, he should.
Yep.
He should, Skip. I mean, like I said, this is him being very reflective. We're going to talk about it a little later when we talk about the Gronk topic. But Tom has gotten real reflective since he's gotten up under that microscope, since he's gotten up under that pressure of that dictatorship that was up in New England.
Yep.
And Tom is like, should I or should I not? Sin.
I swear he has to have a social media director full time because they're collaborating on cleverness. And we're also going to talk about his little trolling of the Falcons later in the show.
Because he might have, during the season, Tom Brady might have tweeted, once, maybe twice? This joker tweeting 3, 4, 5 times a day now.
Yep. And the underlying message is, take that, Bill. Right?
Tom is just beside himself.
Way to go, Tom.
No mercy. Former Chicago Bull, Toni Kukoč, was asked about what it would be like if his former teammate Michael Jordan got to play with Shaquille O'Neal. And he was pretty blunt in his response, quote, best lineup ever assembled. Kukoč continued to tell Bally Sports, quote, it wouldn't even matter who brings the ball up. There's so much firepower there that I don't think that there would be any team that would compete with them. Shannon, do you believe Shaq and MJ would be the most unbeatable duo ever?
I don't, and let me explain to you why, Skip. Because in that scenario, Shaq would have had to join Jordan's team. Jordan has never, ever had a player that can challenge him as far as greatness. Scottie Pippen was perfectly content playing Robin, being the second best player, and that's what he was. No one else ever came there. And we saw Shaq. Once Kobe started to challenge him for greatness on that team, we saw the friction that it created. So my question is, I believe in that scenario, Shaq would have had to been somewhere first and Jordan would have had to join him because Jordan, I just don't see how it worked. Now everybody's going to say, well, Shaq says, this is what I should have done made things better with Kobe, and we could have won maybe another 1 or 2 championships. But we're talking about they're coming out. We're talking about the early 90s. I just don't see how it works. For me, give me LeBron and KD, because both of those guys can play with anybody else, and it does not matter. It doesn't matter. I've seen KD play in 3 different systems with 3 different types of players, and it didn't matter. I've seen LeBron make it work with everybody that he's been around. They'll play off each other, and it really doesn't matter. I don't know if we've ever seen Mike play with someone as great as Shaquille that's going to be challenging him for his greatness on his own team. I don't know how that would have worked, because we saw when Phil first came in and we said, okay, Mike, we're going to need you to shoot a little less and get everybody some ball. He rebuffed that early on. And then once he saw that, you know what, the only way I'm going to be able to win a championship is doing it this way, we saw it work. But we saw before our very eyes what happened when Kobe started to climb that greatness ladder. Shaq was very reluctant to let him continue to climb and get to the top. And ultimately, they broke away. So, Skip, I don't really know how this would work. Now, everybody's going to say all the right thing. Oh, yeah, we'd have made it work. No. Because if that was the case, you could have made it work before, and you didn't.
By the way, so you're combining LeBron with KD, so if you can't beat him, join him. Right? Now you're acknowledging the greatness of Kevin Durant. Thank you. You finally saw the light. Because we know KD's a little better than LeBron, and you would need KD to even begin to challenge Jordan and Shaq.
They said, put 2 guys together. Skip, that's it.
All right. First of all, we're talking sort of hypothetically.
Yeah, very hypothetical.
Okay. And the rest of the lineup doesn't really matter, because Kukoč is saying it would be the best lineup, but he's dismissing. It doesn't even matter who brings the ball up. So to me, it could be you, me, and Jenny. It could be the other 3, right? We'd be just fine, because they don't need anybody.
Right.
We just get in the way. We could just sort of stand around, right?
Yes.
Okay, this is just me. When I rank my all-time list of greatest players, you know who I put at the top? Jordan. I've got Magic second, but I got Shaq third on my list. So if I'm going to combine, hypothetically, 1 and 3, and they do fit together better to me than MJ and Magic.
Okay.
They just don't fit to me the way.
What about Magic and Shaq?
Well, that would work. Because it almost worked. They just barely missed. But yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But here's the point about Michael and Shaq.
Right.
They are simply the 2 physically and mentally most dominant players I ever saw at their positions. Whatever you want to call Michael, 2 guard, I guess. He can play everything. Yeah. He can play small forward. He can play point guard. But those 2 are the 2 most ruthless, cold-blooded basketball killers I ever saw. Both of them. And again, could they fit? Well, if you could hypothetically make them teammates, they would love to play with each other, because you do have a big man and a 2 guard.
Right.
And the point is that Shaquille O'Neal, just for those 3 years, I can't do duration, I can't do longevity, because there was no longevity. He did not keep himself in the greatest
But
shape.
he did for about a decade. You talk about Orlando, and then those 3 years you're talking about in L.A.?
Hey, especially the 3 years, but I'll give you Orlando too. But those 3 years, I've never seen anything like it. Not the prettiest thing to watch. It could be ugly basketball. It could be football basketball. But you want to talk about power and strength and psychologically, the psychological willpower of Shaquille O'Neal with high skill attached to it. High skill, dancing bear skill. He had it all. He had all the little moves, the little hook shots, the touch, the feel, and he just terrorized my San Antonio Spurs featuring David Robinson and Tim Duncan. He tore those 2 apart. He ragdolled both of them. Well, if you put that guy with the coldest-blooded basketball killer ever in Michael, they would terrorize the league. They would terrorize the universe and the galaxy. It would be beyond comprehension. Once they got on a roll, they would destroy everybody in sight.
You know what I love about this? It would never happen, because Michael Jordan is never going to sign off on it.
they would have to get thrust into the same vortex.
Michael gonna rebuff it. Michael don't want. Skip, you know how he is.
Yeah, but if you told him he could cakewalk to 10 straight championships, he would say, okay, I'll do that. Again, remember, he had little to no respect for Scottie Pippen. I don't care what anybody says, little to no respect.
Well, he's on his top 5, his team that his team that he wanted to play with?
He's mellowed out a little bit. But while he was there, I was there covering the team, little to no respect. He was definitely robbing. At best, he was robbing. And in the end, if you actually somehow hypothetically threw him together with Shaquille O'Neal, you don't think he'd respect the big diesel? Yeah, he would.
What's good? Why would he want? He's like, I would have never. I think he said like he would never play with Larry. He never played. I wanted to beat those guys.
Okay, well he didn't want to join them. We're just having to throw them together hypothetically.
Oh yeah.
If they got thrown together in a bubble together, this is what you'd have.
Right.
If you could just hypothetically just pick the two you'd want together.
But do you believe, knowing what you know about each of them personalities and mindset, you believe they could have played together?
I do. I think they could figure it out because you got big and small effectively.
I'm not worried about that. Yeah. I'm just talking about them. I ain't talking about I'm a 2 guard and a center. I'm not talking about that aspect of it. I'm talking about the mindset. What Shaq thought what Shaq was, what Michael was, bringing those two forces together.
Don't underestimate Michael's passing ability because it was supreme. Yeah. That one year he averaged, 8 assists?
Yes.
It was career high?
Yeah.
So
32, 8, and 8.
Okay, so he could get the ball to the big fella.
Yeah.
If that was going to win a lot of basketball games, that's how he would have done it. But he would have to have high regard for the big fella because, remember, he's playing with Bill Winnington and Luke Longley.
Right.
Come on.
But you think he could talk? You think he could talk to Shaq like he talked to those guys?
No, I do not.
No.
But I don't think he'd know he didn't need to talk to him that way.
That's what I'm saying.
He'd know they were partners in crime, right?
And that's the thing. You have to understand. You have to look at these guys' personalities. The way Shaq was talking to Kobe early on, I think he said, the report was that he said, Shaq was telling the story and about how he said something to Kobe, and Kobe said something back. He said, I can get you traded tomorrow. I mean, just the personalities.
He also knew he could just bust him up right there. If it came to that. Right, that's just...
But Skip, I give you... When I look at Shaq, and I remember Shaq when he got to Orlando, and I look at, say, for the first decade, if he could have stayed like that size, that athleticism, for another 3-4 years, Skip...
Game over. I agree.
People don't really... I can feel comfortable saying, Joel Embiid. But Joel Embiid can't move like Shaq. And Shaq
Totally agree.
Man, Shaq was easy 330 and was nimble, was quick.
Nimble.
And with the thing that I loved about Shaq knew who he was and knew who he wasn't. Shaq said, I'm going to bust y'all butt down on this paint, give it to me down here. And I'm turning around, I'm drop stepping, and I'm dunking you and you and you in this basket.
As he says now, barbecue chicken. That's
He's like, I ain't trying to shoot no threes. I ain't trying to shoot no mid-range.
Nope. Got
Shaq, run to the block, give it to me.
Okay, and I'm going to remind you, in those 3 dominant championship back-to-back seasons for the Lakers, Kobe was 21, 22, and 23.
Right.
So whether Kobe liked it or not, he was still the second fiddle through those years. But after 3 championships, Kobe says, I've grown up now.
But you saw all of a sudden he started being first-team All-NBA, first-team All-NBA, and he wasn't content like, ain't no Batman Robin. It's Batman. Ain't no Batman Robin.
I got it.
It's Batman.
Okay. So, back to your contention. If hypothetically we had a 7-game series featuring Shaq and Michael versus LeBron and KD, Shaq and Michael would destroy them.
No, that's Skip. The thing is, no, we gonna play 2-on-2. You can't dunk.
You can't dunk.
Nope.
Well, I think KD and LeBron can dunk.
Yeah, right? We're going to shoot them 3. We're going to shoot them out the gym.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we shoot them out the gym.
Well, KD might. I don't know about LeBron.
Oh, no, see, there you go. See,
well, seriously.
How you try? Hold up, they teammates. How you try to take a shot at the teammate?
Look, neither LeBron nor KD could stop Michael or Shaq. They just couldn't stop
nobody stopping Shaq.
Okay.
Man, you know how big Shaq is at with 330.
Yeah, well, maybe you need Wilt. If you have Wilt on your team, maybe you got a chance.
Prime Wilt, the Wilt in his 20s.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But look, Larry Bird said Shaq was coming out of college, say Shaq might be the second-best player in the NBA. He hadn't even set foot in the NBA. And he said he might be the second-best player in the NBA, and he's not even in the NBA.
Okay.
So that's what Larry Bird, that's what the superstar thought of Shaquille O'Neal just from watching him at LSU.
Okay.
You knew, Skip, if there's ever been a can't miss, you knew Shaquille O'Neal was going to be can't miss. Because we had never, ever, ever seen a guy that size move like that.
Yep.
Guys that size not supposed to move like that, Skip,
And
not 330.
I saw the recent documentary about Shaq leaving Orlando, and he left them dumbfounded because they thought he was going to stay, and at the last second, he's gone to L.A. That is the most shocking, tumultuous, seismic move in history is Shaq leaves Orlando for L.A., and the rest is history.
You know what happened? They had a poll.
Yep.
They asked him, do you believe Shaq is worth this much money? And the fans, like 80%, said no. And you know how Shaq is. Shaq reads everything, and Shaq takes things personal. Oh, you don't think I'm worth that much? Okay.
Okay. Jerry West, I'll see you in a little bit here.
Yeah, out.
Yep. Got it.
Got it? Good?
Well, I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad they two were together. No, I don't want to imagine, Jenny.
Kukoč is right. It would not have been fair.
It would not have been.
No mercy.
Aaron Rodgers isn't sweating the worst loss of his career from this past weekend, telling Pat McAfee yesterday, quote, "I think it's just a good learning lesson for us." He also gave a unique explanation for his first of 2 interceptions. Take a listen for yourself.
I don't like to make a lot of excuses for interceptions. You know, there's some ones, there's some, ones you wish you had back. There's some ones that really aren't your fault. That one was entirely due to the double nut shot I took.
I have no comment. Shannon, what do you make of Rodgers' remarks yesterday?
Skip, look. He's right. You have to move on. But I'm really tired of Aaron. Because
Finally.
Skip, he keeps talking about, we and us. But this offseason, I didn't hear anything about no we and us. I needed a break. I needed to take time. I had to contemplate my future. It wasn't nothing about no we. It wasn't about no we and us. Now, all of a sudden, you get the brakes beat off you is we didn't have the energy. We didn't have the fire. We need to play better. Where's the I? I need that same eye that you had this offseason about what you needed to do and what you wanted to do. That's what I needed to hear.
Preach.
I needed to hear, I need to play better. Don't worry about the defense. I don't want to hear we mention anything about anybody else because you didn't mention anything about anybody else this offseason.
Thank you.
It was all about, I needed a break. I was thinking about retiring.
Thank you.
I wanted that Jeopardy job, and I was on vacation with my fiance, and I was doing this, and it was just good. It was good for me to get. It was good for me to get away. It ain't say nothing about no. It was good for us to get away. It was good for we. This is what we should have been doing. All that being said, yes, he's right. It was only one game, but I'm gonna need you to take more ownership of this and says, you know what? Yes, I need to play better. It starts with me. And when I play better, the team plays better because I need you to have that same energy about you had this offseason. I need you to have that right now. And I ain't seeing that. So I want you to stop doing all that talking about we and us. Ain't no we and us now.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden it's we and, man, how you got us into that? Ain't no, what us? What you mean? I got us into that. You ain't say that when you got in this boat.
I co-sign. If we weren't still under pandemic protocol, I would walk around this table and hug you for what you just said about your man, Aaron bleeping Rodgers. This interview, this session is with his buddies, McAfee and A.J. Hawk, who
Used to play with the Green Bay, yeah.
But this was Aaron at his blame-deflecting greatest. He will not own any of this. He arguably played the worst game of his career under the circumstances, and he owns none of it because it's a we. He'll own it with the team, but even in his earlier remarks, he said, yeah, the offense was bad, but we couldn't get off the field. Well, he doesn't play defense, so the we is the defense. And he said it was 17-0, and we'd run 12 plays. That means finger is pointed at defense.
Yeah.
Couldn't get him off the field.
So let me ask you a question. So you did run 12 plays. So is there a limit of how many plays you can run before you score a touchdown? So you did have the ball. So when New Orleans scored, did they kick? This ain't basketball, Aaron. I don't know if you ever played one-on-one where you play make it, take it.
Yep.
They score, they kick the ball after you. So I'm just trying to figure out why you only had 12, why we only had 12 plays.
Good question. So he goes on to say that 2/3 of his text messages he received after the game reminded him that the Buccaneers also had lost to the New Orleans Saints last year 38-3 and obviously went on to win the Super Bowl. But Aaron kind of poo-pooed that, saying, well, that's sort of like trying to make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what.
Right.
And then he moves on to the interception. He said, we had the one good drive, and I unfortunately threw the interception. And he said, I don't like to make excuses. And then he made one of the all-time great excuses. He says, on the first interception that ended a fairly lengthy drive, he took a shot below the belt.
Right.
And he got hit in the man region on both sides of the man region. And so here we're seeing the play. And to me, it smacked of the all-time greatest excuse. Poor Aaron, he got hit in the man region. We got to give him a break because that's why he threw the ball sideways.
Skip, I wonder if I'm going up to catch a pass and somebody hit me there and I drop it, can I come back and say, man, I would have caught that, but I got hit below the belt?
Well,
nobody would hear that.
You could try, but you would fail.
Exactly.
Nobody would care. No, and nobody cares about this, but I don't know, maybe some people in Packer Nation would say, that's why he threw it sideways to the wrong color jersey, right?
Skip, on an earlier radio show, Jermichael Finley, and let me tell you how things work, Skip. When people outside say something about you, you can kind of deflect that or you don't know what's going on. But it carries a lot more weight when someone that played with us, that we knew that was in that very locker room, says things that what Jermichael Finley said. That's going to sting Aaron. Now, he can play it off and say, oh, that doesn't matter. But it does matter. Because you're talking about this is not somebody that's from the outside that's looking in. This was someone on the inside that also got an opportunity to look out.
True.
So that's going to cause, and he said I don't see the work ethic in Aaron that I've seen in previous years. He also said Aaron is great at finger pointing. That's one of the things. He'll finger point. He's very, very, very condescending. He's aloof. He's a lot of other things, too. But unfortunately, we are a family program.
But he's a classic diva.
Yeah, and so for me, Skip, look, I didn't want to hear nothing about no we when you spent the entire offseason talking about I. So now it's we. We got beat. You know, we got to play better. We got to come out with more energy. Well, what do you think about that? You know, well, it's Packers. This is a we. This is the us situation. So I need to think about what's in the best interest of us. It was in the best interest of you.
Yep.
So now it's we lost. Yep. Oh, it's a we. No, you played bad. Yep. You played terrible. They go as you go.
So the biggest reason to me that Aaron is able to sit back, kick back on the TV radio show that he does, that's his weekly gig.
Right.
And basically say RELAX is because now they play on Monday Night Football at home against the Detroit Lions, who did rally furiously and pridefully against San Francisco, but they were, you know the score, they were way down in the early fourth quarter, where they down 3 touchdowns, and they did make a game of it.
Right.
They're also 10-point dogs at Lambeau.
Wow.
So I'm starting to look harder at that division. I'm not sure that that's not the worst division in football. If you look at the bottom feeding 3 teams, is that division still that much better than the NFC least? Because the least, Dallas looked way better than anybody thought. Philly looked way better than anybody thought.
But at least, Skip, I think those teams don't have anybody as bad as the Giants.
That is debatable. I'm still not sure about the Lions. I'm still not sure they're that much better than the Giants.
I just want to know why, Skip, this team was as unprepared, it seemed mentally, physically, emotionally, as they were going against New Orleans. The thing is, Skip, what you would have think or thought they would have tried to do, say, you know what? They don't have Drew. Let's go put their backs against the wall early on, jump on them quick, and let's see how they respond. Now, we know if they have Drew Brees, they feel they can come back, but they're starting a new quarterback. This is basically a new. So let's put them against the wall.
Yep.
You let a team jump out 17-0. Oh, they're going to start to feel real good, but good luck coming back from that.
I hear no ownership. I hear no urgency.
That's where you got to miss me with
I hear no leadership.
Yeah.
Like, it starts with me.
Yeah.
I've got to clean up my game. I don't hear that from him at all.
You know what I think of him as a quarterback. But he and I probably would have had a lot of problems.
I agree.
Because that finger pointing and that blame, the first time you talk about do this, I'm going to come and say, hey, bro, we'll talk about this behind closed doors, but you
don't show me up like that on national television.
No, that's the thing that John, there were times I ran the wrong route or I did something wrong. John Elway, he would, hey, it was the Monday. I needed you to do this. I thought we were telling you we were going to do this.
That works. Yeah,
that's fine. But he, just like me, I used to throw my hand up. I'm jumping up and down. He would come to me and say, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
I said, "Don't show me up." No problem, bro. I got you. Did that one time. He said, "Okay, cool." You say you don't like. Okay.
Well, and we know Aaron's teammates are listening to what he's saying, right? So how long does this work? If it continues, he is not afraid to share his opinion, guys. And can they rebound? That'll be the big question. No mercy. Well, the Washington football team is officially moving forward with Taylor Heinicke at quarterback as they look to bounce back from their season-opening loss. Heinicke played in Washington's playoff game last year and yesterday spoke about being QB1 moving forward. Take a listen.
It's something I've been dreaming about my whole life, being a starting quarterback in the NFL, and here we are. So I'd really try and take it one day at a time, one meeting at a time, one play at a time. And I feel like if I just live in the moment, everything else will take care of itself.
Okay, Shannon, will Washington be more or less of a threat to win the NFC East with Heinicke at QB?
Skip, he doesn't have the experience or the knowledge that Ryan Fitzpatrick possesses, but I believe because of his legs, I believe because he's more athletic, he probably makes them more of a threat. Considering how well he played in that playoff game, maybe he didn't know he wasn't supposed to play that well, Skip. Maybe coming in off the bench, but now there's a different level of expectations from him. I think the thing is, Skip, no one expected what we got when they played the Bucs in the playoff. So, man, that's Tyler Heinicke, man, come on, bro. What you expect? And he exceeded expectations coming in off the bench. Now you're expected to navigate this and get these guys on the right track and continue it.
Yep.
So I think the thing is there's more expected of him, but given the small sample size that I've seen, Skip, I think he'll be okay. I think he's going to. I think me personally, I think he's going to be more of a threat because I think he can get out of harm's way, and I think he'll do a better job of taking care of the football than Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now we only saw him for a quarter and a half before he ended up injured or hurting his hip, but I like the small sample size that I've seen. I like what I see from Tyler Heinicke.
So, am I hearing you're back on the Washington bandwagon?
I can be on anybody's bandwagon I want.
That is true.
Guess what?
You're on a lot of bandwagons.
No, what do I have? In the NFC East, what do I have?
The field.
Okay.
TF. Right?
Yes.
Tackled for loss. That's what you're going to be. TFL. Tackle for loss. Okay, so I'm just trying to keep up because through the offseason, Shannon Sharpe said, I love those Giants to win the East, right?
I got off them real early, though. I got off them real early.
Then it was Washington until you saw Sunday's debacle in which the Chargers and Justin Herbert converted 14 of 19 third downs. That's unheard of. They controlled the ball 78 plays to only 49 for the home team. And even though the score was not a wipeout score, it felt way worse than 20-16.
Had Heinicke got that ball back, it was going to be old curtains.
Okay. So you told me on Monday that, hey, you said you were right about the Eagles because I told you the whole offseason, the team to watch, the team for me to fear is the Eagles because of Jalen Hurts. And then suddenly you were driving that bandwagon on Monday, but then all of a sudden it's back to Taylor Heinicke as the starter, and we actually got to see the young man speak. I'd never seen him speak
I like
before.
The way composure.
Did you?
Nope.
You like his composure? I'm not sure about the composure.
The question was, Are they more or less of a threat with Tyler Heineke?
Okay, well, I told you in the offseason, I feared Heineke more than Fitzmagic. I told you you're definitely barking up the wrong tree with Fitzmagic because you don't like it. In fact, you despise him because he's a roller coaster ride.
Exactly.
Right?
But Skip, he beat him out for the job.
Okay. Well, he finally did because he got hurt. You mean Fitzmagic beat him out. Well, now it's back to Heineke.
Yes.
And so the reason I fear that kid is I got to see him briefly against Carolina, and he played okay against Carolina late last year. And then that playoff game, Pro Football Focus, your favorite website, they loved his performance in that playoff game.
He played unbelievable.
Because I got to tell you, I don't even drink, but Heineke was making me want a Heineken during that game because I'm saying, what is this kid doing? He's got to just leave us be.
It was that run, Skip.
Huh?
That run. Remember that scramble run?
It was unbelievable. So he winds up going 6 times running the ball for 46 yards and scored the touchdown.
Right.
And he
threw for over 300.
26 of 44, not the greatest percentage, but pretty decent, for, as you said, 306. And 1 touchdown, 1 interception. His QBR was just in the middle. It was 57, scale 0 to 100. But Pro Football Focus raved about it. And I think the Buccaneers walked off that field thinking, we're pretty lucky to dodge that young man's bullet.
And think about it, Skip. Of all the quarterbacks that defense faced, he can make a case that he played better against that defense than all the rest of them.
Well, he did. In fact, they ranked his performance the best in the whole playoffs, certainly against that defense, which was the hottest defense in the league down the stretch.
Right.
Okay, so do I fear Washington a little bit more? I do, but the defense was sort of shockingly disappointing. And Chase Young no-showed.
Yes.
Okay? Philly looked like they're back. They look like a football team. They look like they have, with Nick Sirianni, just sort of a new, fresh spirit about them.
Right.
And they got kids, Devontae is making plays.
Jalen Reagor making plays. Goddard.
And all of a sudden, the defense came back alive, and the Hargrave is starting to make plays.
But, Skip, it's
Fletcher Cox.
That offensive line was insane. Now, I don't know, Skip, do I look at the offensive line and says, okay, they're back and they're healthy, and they are. Or, man, Atlanta can't rush the pass. Atlanta terrible on defense.
Okay, so your jury is still out on Eagles?
Right, but they did look good. Kelsey has always been a mainstay, Skip. He's always been healthy and been there. But Lane Johnson, last couple of years, dealing with that ankle injury.
Yep.
Brad Brooks, he tore his ACL, tore his Achilles. They moved on from Jason Peters.
They did.
And they got a big guy, 6'8". Yep. So they have pieces, Skip. The question is, can they stay healthy? Was this a blip? Are they really that good? Or was it the competition, Atlanta not being able to generate a pass rush?
Okay, so I think they're pretty legit.
Okay.
But in the end, the reason you're going to lose however many cases we bet on this, the reason the Dallas Cowboys are going to win the NFC East is Dak Prescott, Dakota Rain Prescott.
I got a feeling y'all going to be down 0-2.
R-E-I-G-N Rain. It won't even matter if we're down 0-2. We still got this. Because we are going to sweep the East.
You see what you did? You talking about you don't even care. See, I slipped that in there. But you know there's a great possibility of what's going to happen out here on Sunday.
I wouldn't give it great possibility, but there is a chance, seeing that we're 3-point dog going to the Chargers at SoFi, and who knows?
And you already gave me the line. You already gave me the spread.
I did not give you the spread. I did not. What are you talking about? You understand, we get the points.
No, I'm getting the points.
For what?
You got Dak Prescott. Well, he MVP, top 5 MVP candidate.
Okay, well, my point to you is, the reason I got the East is because I got Dak, and you don't got Dak. You got those other 3 teams, and I love Jalen Hurts, but he's not Dak, not yet. And you got Taylor Heineke, and you got Daniel Jones, who seems to be regressing in his 3rd year.
I don't want him.
Okay, so it's a quarterback's game. It's a quarterback's league.
Yes.
And you saw Dak on full display. I was shocked. Dak is back. I'm good to go. And I even like the idea of, okay, so we don't have Michael Gallup. Let's spread out Amari and put CD out wide, and let's put little Cedric Wilson in the slot, and I think it will fit better. Now I just need Zeke to blend in, get him 105 yards, and we'll be good to go.
Joey Bosa.
Yeah, okay. You know what? You might, Terrence Steele might just shock you. They said he's bigger and stronger, and they loved how he played in those 14 starts.
Okay, don't give him any help and watch how many sacks, how many times he put Joey Bosa put his helmet in Dak's back.
I got the best blitz blocking back in the league, and he will be chipping away at Bosa's knees. Right?
Okay, we're going to see.
We're good. We're good to go. We got a real shot Sunday, and this least it's a done deal.
Give me 3 points.
You understand, you're favored.
I know,
Chargers
but I want
are
the 3
favored.
points.
Well, what do you mean? Do you want Dallas?
No, I want the Saints. I want the Chargers, but I want 3 points.
Why would I do that?
Because you got Dak. You just talked about you got Dak.
You flim-flammed the security guard downstairs, but you can't flim-flam on TV.
He was maintenance. I apologize.
Yeah, maintenance man,
okay. But Skip, you got Dak.
You even a maintenance
man? What are you
man?
doing making bets with everyone around here?
They come up to me. Man, I got the Cowboys. I was minding my own business. It's early in the morning. Give me 5:30 in the morning. I'm minding my own business. He yelling across, way across. He might be up on the fifth floor. Hey, you want to bet? What?
No, you
So he bet $100, or you proposed $100?
No, he bet. We've been betting all the time.
Oh, how much are you down?
He made you.
You didn't say. I think you might be down.
You remember how bad the Cowboys been the last 2 years?
Huh.
Okay.
He got me the first year, but I had to be a rebirth.
I'd like to know the score of those bets.
I need to know what you do outside of this place, Shannon. How many people you're making bets with? No mercy. After scoring twice on opening night, Rob Gronkowski caught a lot of people's attention, but it wasn't a surprise to his longtime teammate, Tom Brady. This week, TB12 said, quote, "When I see him play now, the real Rob Gronkowski is back. The spirit of him, which makes everyone love him as a person, as a teammate, as a player. When I saw him play the other night, that's his most authentic self. He ended up retiring because he didn't find the joy he had, and to see him regain it is one of the really great, satisfying things for me in pro sports." So, Shannon, is this actually a shot at Bill Belichick?
Yep. Tom knew that Gronk was tired of Coach Belichick's ways that was wearing on him, because Gronk is a really fun-loving, outgoing. He's a big kid. He's a frat boy that happened to play a professional sport.
You've been around him.
I've been around him. Yep. And that's just his personality. That's just who he is. But Coach Belichick reined as much of it in as he could. But Gronk's like, you know what? I'm not being me. But it just goes to show you. Skip, you remember when Lane Johnson, you and I, we talked about this a couple of times. Lane Johnson said, yeah, I know they win, but they don't have any fun. They're so mechanical. They're so methodical. If you ask one guy a question, you ask the 21st guy, he's going to tell you the same thing. And Tom Brady, and basically to a man, would say, winning is fun.
Yep.
It took Tom Brady going somewhere else to say, you know what? Oh, we can win here and have fun. You see what happens, Skip. Remember, I talked about this in relationship. All the things that was wrong. Oh, it's great. I'm great. Coach Belichick, he's great. I love playing for him, and we win. And then you get somewhere else. Man, it was hell playing over there. Mm-hmm. To do that, the grind.
Yep.
That he's constantly like, it's seemingly never good enough.
Yep.
And now Gronk is somewhere. Gronk has been, he's like, I'm done. I'm done here. I'm not really done with football. Tom, where you going? Tom goes somewhere. Hey, I'll go there. But I just can't play here. And, it was an absolute, it wasn't just a shot, it was a cannon fire.
It was.
Skip, they scored a touchdown, the cannon goes off, and the pirate ship.
He shot the cannon at Belichick. He did.
That's what that was.
I agree. So I love this version of Tom Brady because this is his authentic self also. He says Gronk is now, this is his most authentic self. So is it Brady.
Exactly.
He's a little tongue-in-cheek, and he likes to beat you, and he likes to gloat about it in his way. It's subtle gloating. It's a little more between the lines gloating. But he fired this cannon. It's a little between the lines. He doesn't use Bill's name. He doesn't call him out by name. He didn't go so far.
He did everything but call him out by name.
But he didn't go to the money line of Gronk just hated playing for Bill.
Right.
Something like that. But he did say that he retired because it just wasn't fun anymore.
Because guess what, Skip? Gronk, take a day. Bruce Arians, Gronk, take 2 days. Coach Belichick ain't ever telling you to take no days. You practicing. Hurt, sick, it doesn't matter. So now he's in, Skip, hold on. Let's see, in November, would I rather be in Tampa or would I rather be in Boston practicing outside when it's 20 degrees?
That's true. So, you know what astounded me the most about Thursday night's opener? Brady played great, one of his greatest games ever, but who was his favorite target in the game? It was the aging tight end. Mm-hmm. Some people say the GOAT tight end.
Yes.
Maybe that's up for debate.
No.
You've pretty much said that. Yeah. I know he was a little out of sight, out of mind there for a while.
But yeah, what he's been able to do,
Okay, here's all you need to know about that Thursday night victory. Brady threw Gronk 8 balls, and he caught all 8 of them. Mm-hmm. Well, that connection was sort of the connection for that victory.
Remember that drive? The final drive?
I think we have that. Can we see those two? The 2 biggest catches until he hit Godwin were this. This is just 6 yards. But again, he said, I'll take that because I trust that guy.
Yep.
I know that guy and he knows me. And this was much bigger. This one, he just breaks it right up the middle and runs over my safety for 20 yards. Well, that set up the throw to Godwin. And by the way, he threw 14 balls to Chris Godwin because he loved the matchup with my slot corner, Jordan Lewis, who was on him much of the game. And he's saying, Jordan Lewis just can't cover him. And you said this before the year. Pick your poison. Who you going to pick? So you put Trevon Diggs on Mike Evans. He did a tremendous job.
Did a good job.
Okay, and kept him to a low roar, three catches, right? But now, what else are you going to do? Well, you're going to put Anthony Brown on on Antonio Brown, and he's going to have a long night, right?
But here's the thing, Skip. You know, we talk about this. You used to ask me, say, what is a catbird seat? Tom Brady's in the catbird seat. He's just coming out winning the Super Bowl. To the victor goes the spoils. And so now he can say all the things that I maybe wanted to say, but I didn't say when I was there. I ain't got to call your name. But everybody can infer what I'm talking about.
Okay, I got it. So he also threw 2 touchdown passes to Rob Gronkowski. And they had some genius connection behind both of them. The first one, if we could see, it's the rollout play. And we don't see Tom do this much, but Tom's got a fixed knee now.
Yeah, I think Godwin was supposed to keep going. That's the stretch. Yeah, that's the best stretch.
But that's the one where, on that one, it's just connected genius of the GOAT tight end and the GOAT quarterback saying, we've been doing this for so long. We know exactly the predicament you're in. We're going to checkmate you. Whichever way you go, I'm going to yell checkmate because he's going to make the right choice. I got to trust him, but I trust him at the highest level. And what did Gronk do? Oh, wait a second. The safety's going to go? Well, that means this big old defensive lineman, this defensive end, DeMarcus Lawrence, is going to have to cover me. And he can't cover me. So he just bolts.
That's why people got away from that defense. When the Bears would run that defense, what was happening, Skip, is that they were taking the tight end, blocking DeMarcus Lawrence. And then the guy over you was blitzing, hitting the quarterback in the back.
That's what
they said, well, you know what?
Oh, guess what?
What if we send this guy out, fake like we're going to block one of the guys, and then go out?
Okay, so Tom's going to have to take it in the mouth because he took a shot and got knocked on his back. And he had to throw it off his back foot, and he had to throw it as hard as he could throw it to get enough mustard on it to get it to Gronk right up the seam. And it's 10 yards, touchdown. And that was a touchdown born of years of just connection where you completely trust each other.
That's the one we talk about, Skip. If we get this, remember we talked about the other night. We get Derek Carr was talking about this down and distance. This is what they like. This is a Dan Quinn special. We like to know. We know this down and distance, this area of the field. He likes to go to this defense. Gronk, heads up. Gronk, I can't believe they doing this.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's a touchdown.
And what have they always said about Gronk? Even Bill would say, Bill Belichick. High IQ, high football. He gets it all.
Yeah, you ain't gonna Skip. You ain't gonna mess up your money. That's your money right there. I ain't messing with my money.
No mercy. So get this. The Cowboys apparently called 28 run plays last week against Tampa, but Dak Prescott audibled out of 12 of them. Dallas averaged nearly 5 yards per play on those changes, and offensive coordinator Kellen Moore was all for the audibles, saying, quote, those opportunities presented itself. I love that Dak took them. I'm curious, Skip, what does this tell you?
First, it tells me that Kellen Moore is defending himself publicly by divulging that he actually called 28 run plays. You don't need to tell the media that, but I'm glad he did, because it's enlightening to me that he also said Dak audibled out of 12 of those plays. Who is Dak's best friend by far on the team? It's just like they are truly joined at the hip. Drafted same year, that they are besties. And Zeke is not going to love letting that sink in, because he knows he was out there for most of these plays, that his number got called and then it got uncalled by the quarterback. And at some point, his pride's going to kick in, and he's not going to love this, because they wound up throwing 58 passes to 18 running plays. 58 to 18. So I check back, I hark back to the great run they had in their rookie year together. Remember, they went up to Lambeau and beat Aaron Rodgers and the vaunted Packers up at Lambeau Field. It was 30-16. They threw it 27 times and ran it 33 times and threw it 4 more times to Zeke. So he was featured, right? Remember, at Pittsburgh, it became a shootout. It was 35-30. Dallas prevailed over Big Ben and the Steelers. And that week, I know I picked Pittsburgh to win because I just couldn't see them as rookies going in there and doing that. Well, it was still pretty close. It was 32 passes to 25 runs, but he caught 2 more balls, and one of them on a screen went to the house. Okay, so he is still pretty close to 50-50 featured. Well, now to your point, they paid him, Dak Prescott, $75 million this year, and it's like Jerry's probably asserting his influence from above. I want to see the football in the air, because that's how you win championships in this league. You throw the football. I still think there's a huge place in winning football for the run. And Tom Brady would be the first to tell you that, because you watch what they'll do against Atlanta. They'll get, I know Ronald Jones he was pouting and sulking over his early fumble, wound up in the doghouse for the rest of the game. And then Aaron said yesterday, he will start this game and he will be featured in this game. And Brady has no problem with that. He loves to hand it off to playoff Lenny or Rojo, right? Because he knows it's how you win football games. You can control the clock, and you can just you can pulverize that defensive line until they're no mas. Well, Dallas doesn't do that anymore. They have turned into an aerial circus. And I, for one, do not love it. And if they're going to have a chance with a new sleek Zeke at Chargers, he's going to have to be featured more. And Dak on called runs is going to have to hand it off.
No, Skip, this is where you and I disagree. I think the thing is, this is what Dak is supposed to do. What you're supposed to do, you're supposed to get out of a bad play and get to a good play, and get a good play to a great play. The box will determine if we're going to run the ball or not.
But sometimes that's a little subjective. About you might have just a gut feeling, I love this matchup I got.
But Skip, first of all, you didn't love the matchup of them actually running the football against Tampa anyway. So maybe down the road you might have a legit argument, but trying to run the ball against the #1 rush defense in all of football last year, when they averaged giving up about 80 yards a game.
It did work, but listen, Kellen Moore's defense. What Kellen Moore is saying, don't look at me.
Skip,
I called him.
It's kind of like, we go to the line, we got 2 plays called. We're going to let the box determine whether we're going to run it or throw it. Light box, we're running it. Heavy box, we're throwing it. And Skip, you got to, that guy have, what he throw for 403, 405, something like that, with 1 pick? So when you look at it, you look at Dak, it shows me he has complete command of this offense. He understands what's being asked of him, what's being expected of him, and he's going out and do it. I can assure you, Peyton Manning goes to the line and he's check. We're going with this because the front is determined to us that we shouldn't run the ball into this front. We're going to throw it. Now, if y'all want to keep putting 5 in the box, if y'all want to keep putting 8 guys in the box, 7 to 8 guys in the box, we're going to keep throwing it.
Okay, but Kellen Moore is telling you, I was not afraid of that Tampa front. I called 24 runs.
But let me tell you why he was afraid of it. Because he also gave Dak checks. Now, Skip, there have been times that we go into the game, we're running. We run it, don't care.
Well, you guys in Denver, you just ran it no matter what the box said.
Because we didn't care about what front. And another thing, Skip, is that we tried on the road, you try to minimize the checks because why? Crowd noise. Now, last year, it wasn't no crowd, so you don't really care. You're going to be able to hear. But normally when you go on the road, you try to minimize the checks because you might hear the heck of a guy, he thought you said Hunt, and you saying check, and he's a false start.
Did not happen.
Exactly. So it tells me that They have a lot of confidence in Dak. Dak understands this offense. He has a lot of confidence that, you know what? I know what's asking me. I can read this defense. They got a really heavy box. We're going to throw this football. Oh, y'all light up front? We're going to run it.
Better run it Sunday.
No mercy. He posted a video celebrating the Bucs win, but eagle-eyed fans noticed he may be taking a shot at his next opponent, the Falcons. A clock over Brady's shoulder reads 3:28, which some are taking as a shot at Atlanta, who famously blew a 28-3 lead in Super Bowl 51. Shannon, do you believe Brady was trolling the Falcons here?
Yep, and I'm glad he should.
Yep.
They should never be able to live this down. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassment. Skip, look, to the victor goes the spoils. And he's never going to, he always has this. The Diamonds have, 328 diamonds. There are specific details about their championship rings that equated to this. So I have no problem with this.
This is Shannon Sharpe Memorial gloating at its highest form, right?
Yes, you should.
You have to look hard to see the 328, and I assume he had his social media director adjust the clock back to 328, right?
Yep.
But this is the new clever Tom who is tongue-in-cheek gloating.
Right.
And I love this Tom because he has been unleashed out from under Bill Belichick.
This is the Tom, this is who he's always been, that we were never going to get to see had he stayed his butt up in New England. So I'm glad he died here so we get to see the real Tom.
So now you're willing to say you love Tom Brady, right?
This aspect, long as there ain't no corny, he in the leaves, throwing up the leaves and stuff like that, nah.
All right. I like Shannon, it's a start.
Coming around.
I'll take it as that. Skip Shannon, good stuff. We are back same time tomorrow morning. The Herd is on now. Have a good rest of your day.